Hello everyone, I am Liana Brown and this is Literature Lounge. I am here with
Liliana Mendez,
Mason Clott,
Addison Mathis, and Michaela Hassey.
This podcast will cover all our thoughts and opinions on the Little Women book by Louisa Alcott, as well as some outside connections like movies and spin-off books. But today is going to be all about the overall book itself.
What is everyone's favorite characters?
Okay, so my favorite character is Beth. She just seems very sweet, even though it was kind of creepy at times how she just randomly walked into the house to play the piano, because that was kind of creepy. But she was just sweet overall, and she just seemed like a nice little kid. But her death, I wish it was like not expected and not built up so much, because that kind of ruined her death where nobody kind of felt for it.
My favorite character was Amy because I could relate to her. Her and Joe's relationship reminded me of me and my sister because they fight a lot, but they're also really close.
My favorite character was Jo. I really liked her because she was strong-minded throughout the entire book. She was also very hot-tempered, so I found it really fun to watch her play out in all the scenes, getting mad while trying to get better at keeping her cool. And I can also really connect to her through my second book, a spin-off book that I'm reading, because she wrote so many letters, and my book includes all the letters that she wrote, and I'm really getting deep down into her character, just figuring out who she really is. And I definitely feel like I relate to her with how she is very protective of Beth and the other sisters, because I am definitely like that with my sisters.
My favorite character is also Jo, because I find myself always connecting with the main characters because I know the most about them. And I feel like throughout the entire book, Jo was I knew a lot about her, and I feel like I could really connect to her because we knew so much about her.
My favorite character is Marmee. Even though she doesn't really grow as much as a character and she's kind of has the same traits throughout the book, I think she's very loving and caring, and she's a great mother. She's very humble, and she doesn't really care about money. She wants her children to have the best life, and she works so they can have the best life.
So how did you guys like the book?
I thought the overall book was okay. I feel like the same thing was happening over and over throughout each of the sisters growing. They would come with a new challenge and then solve it together. But since it happened just every chapter, it got a little old, I feel like. I did enjoy seeing them grow, personally, but with the whole family together, it just felt like the same thing just kept happening.
I liked it. I enjoyed the plot of it, but I think it was drawn out for too long, and I think some chapters were longer than they needed to be.
Yes, I agree with Liana and Kayla. I really connected with the characters, and I loved all the characters, but each chapter, each chapter was so long and it was so hard to get through that sometimes I would get into a really big reading slump and I just could not read the book, and
Sometimes I feel like the plot got lost. Every chapter seemed like a new story and not all on one timeline.
I definitely agree with that. I liked the story and the character development, but it was definitely hard to follow with there being a bunch of little stories when they could have chose one and stuck with that for the book, because I feel like I really would have liked the book more if it was just really one story.
There were lots of big moments throughout the book. The first one that I thought was very important was Beth's death. I feel like it was very dragged out. The only thing they really brought up about Beth was her death and her dying. She was a very sweet character, but that was really the only thing about her and the only challenge she really went through.
I was disappointed because it was very expected. Everyone saw it coming, and I feel like we would have been able to I don't know how to word this. We would have connected more to the character if she died unexpectedly.
I feel like there was I never really got to know her at all. Like she really wasn't in any like the chapters of the story. She was kind of just a background character, so I never really got to connect with her. So I wasn't really sad when she died. I didn't really feel sorry. I mean, I felt bad for like the family because like her sister died, but like I didn't really feel bad for like Beth or anything.
Another big moment that happened in the book was when Joe turned down Laurie's marriage and then Laurie fell for Amy. I feel like we could definitely see this throughout the book when Joe and Laurie kept saying like brotherly or sisterly love, and we could see that it would have never actually been a romantic love, and it always would have been a sibling love.
Like Lily said, throughout the book you could definitely tell these little details, how Laurie and Joe, they never would have made it, and it wasn't really true love, but when he got with Amy you could see how it was true love and it wasn't just friendship.
Now, I had never really watched the Little Women movies before I'd read the book, so I didn't actually know that Joe was going to turn down Laurie's proposal. It was kind of like it wasn't a big shock to me, I guess you could say. There was definitely signs that Joe and Laurie weren't going to be together, but it was a little disappointing because like on the outside I thought they were cute, but their personalities definitely didn't align like Laurie's and Amy does.
I feel like I always saw Laurie as just like a gentleman because like he's upper class. So he's like, I think he's expected to act like that towards Joe. So like I really didn't feel like it wasn't love. It was just, I don't know. He was just being polite.
I definitely don't think that they were compatible because of how alike they were. They both had like tempers, and they both were pretty much the same person, just different gendered, and usually that doesn't really work out in relationships because they would constantly be like battling it out.
The final big moment I wanted to talk about today in the book was Amy falling into the ice. This was a very big surprise to me when it happened. It was very shocking, and I was really scared that Amy was going to die because I didn't really start liking her character in the beginning. And thankfully, Joe was able to go to her and save her, and I feel like this was a very big breakthrough for Joe, realizing that she needs to be aware of Amy and her temper.
I thought it was funny. At the time, I really didn't like Amy's character because of what she did to Joe about the whole writing book thing. And I could relate to Joe because I'm also a writer, and I'd be mad if someone burnt my hard work. So I was giggling when she fell into the ice, and I didn't really care if she...
Oh, so when I was first reading that, I kind of thought it was weird. I don't know, I feel like that was kind of the beginning. Now that after I read how Amy and Laurie ended up getting together in the end, I feel like that was kind of the beginning of Amy maybe liking Laurie or like wanting to become more close to him.
Like Addie said, definitely Amy wanting to go ice skating, you could see that she wanted to go and hang out with Laurie. And I also thought that her falling through the ice was definitely an important moment for her and Joe's relationship because it's kind of a wake-up call that like they're important to each other.
I also agree with Kayla when she said it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. But I do think it's a big part of the story because then Joe and Amy make up. But I think that was also partly karma. I think Amy fully deserved falling through the ice. Did you guys like the ending?
I actually liked the ending a lot more than I thought I would because I think it was really good for us to see like how the future would be and them with all their kids. Because family was a theme throughout the whole book, I think it was a really important thing to end with like the whole family together, and I think it also brought a lot of closure.
I basically want to say the exact same thing as Macy just said, and I love books when they end with happy endings, so I was giggling and kicking my feet when they all were like having their little party at the end, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, everyone got a happy ending besides Beth, so I was chill.
For me, it didn't really feel like an ending because of how the book had so many different like plots going on at once. It kind of just felt like another one of those plots that was going on, and when it actually ended, I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't really know that it was an ending. I just thought it was a different, like, plot of the story.
I also really liked the ending, kind of what everyone else said. I liked getting to see them all together as a family after all the challenges they had went to, from little women to become a true women in their life with their kids. And having the ending at Joe's house for the boys I thought was really interesting as well, with all the kids playing together, and it was a really good closure for the book.
I feel like it was definitely like hinting toward a start of another book though, and I don't know if there is a sequel, but it definitely, for me, it hinted toward a sequel of the book.
Like Lily just said, there actually is a sequel, and I'm reading Little Men right now, and it actually takes place at Plumefield, and it's about all the boys that Joe raises.
I always thought it was so weird how Joe had so many kids. I feel like it's so... No, she didn't have kids. Bro, okay, that's not what I meant. She didn't have the kids, but she like raised so many kids, because I feel like stereotypically, like, tomboys, they don't normally want to have kids. Like, they want to go out and have adventures. What?
Because they're not motherly.
Yeah, because they're not motherly. What Macy just said, I want to give credit real quick. And I just feel like it was so weird. Like, she didn't have like one or two boys. She had like, what, 12? She was living in like one house that I think she got from Aunt March.
And she got girls too.
And she got girls and she got boys, mostly boys. So I mean, it makes sense because she's a tomboy. And pets. Yeah.
Definitely relating to what Addie just said there, it was very interesting to see Joe at this big house with all of the kids, because growing up she really didn't seem like the type to do that. It more seemed like Meg would have been the one to have all of the kids, or at least more than Joe had. But there was very subtle signs about Joe having this type of ending, with her being very protective of Beth and staying home and helping Marmee and all those certain things. So it was just a big surprise.
I think there was definitely hints at her wanting to become a mother, or like being a good mother, because with Beth, she was like always by her side to like nurture her, and when I was reading that, it was like kind of like motherly, and she was kind of taking Marmee's place since Marmee wasn't there to do it herself. She fit the role really well, and I think that's why it was very, very expected that she would become a mother.
I agree with that whole thing, but I definitely saw Joe as more of a Marmee. Like, she definitely, they seem to be like the same person, you know, and just Joe's younger, so I feel like Joe definitely would have turned into a Marmee.
Like what Lily said, there was a chapter where Marmee and Joe had a really deep talk, and Marmee did mention that Joe reminded her of herself, so I think it makes sense that she would grow up to be like her mother.
Deep talk was about their temper. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it was about their temper.
We're good?
Yeah.
Hello everyone, I am Liana Brown, and this is Literature Lounging. I am here. What is it?
Did you like it?
Wait.
You're like, did you like it?
You should be like, did everyone like it?
Did everybody like it?
Did everybody like the book?
And you were like, I relate to the main character because I'm the main character.
My favorite character is also Joe.
Going there next. Oh, we're going there next.
Oh, it's first
hour.
I gotta go pee.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I already went.
Oh.
Everyone start mewing so you can't talk. And she was fitting the role